Hello, everybody. This is Ian, CEO at We Offer Wellness, and I'm here in Kent. It's a bit grey outside, but I'm with Caroline. Hello, Caroline.
Good morning, good morning.
And it is morning, exactly. Whereabouts are you? Can you remind me?
I'm in Ealing, on the west side of London.
Oh, the west side of London. Yeah, how long have you been there?
Been in the UK since 2008.
Okay, and always that kind of side of London.
I was in Pimlico early on, but then when you start to get a teenager, you realize, okay, we need more space and more place to move.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But look, thank you for being part of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build, you know. And I know you and I have spoke on the phone. It's the first time we've done a virtual call like this. We actually sort of see each other and have that kind of connection. But I think you're great for us, you know. And then we wanted people with the attitude and the spirit and the projection into the future for what wellness could be into the world. But before we get into what you do,
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about the background. You know, all this purples and the shades. It suggests something to me, but
yeah.
what
Well,
is
I
it?
yeah. Purple for me, if you put it with the crown chakra, if you put it, it's always just been a color, a favorite color of mine. But I work with people. In the end, I'm here to help people create calm in their body holistically. And so for me, the setting, the environment, the colors, be it the stones work that I might do with children of special needs, to sometimes it's the how do we connect and get them to make a grid or something that they're allowing them to calm in. You get that to come in, but they're calming in and arrive into the moment. So
Look wonderful. Right, before we get into that, then let's tell us about you. So where does I like to ask this question because
yeah.
often it draws up and out the story of where you are and how you got into this world. So where does it kind of start with you, Caroline?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I need to put it of I'm my some people call it a challenge. I call it it was an opportunity to grow. And it started with a major head trauma. Got it thrown off a horse when I was 18, was in a coma, fractured my skull and lost a lot of memory. And in those days, they didn't really have many tools. It was like get up, grit and gratitude, get going. And so I've learned a lot from the brain and just it gave me probably activated my intuitive skills in some ways because I was feeling a lot inside, but I couldn't explain it. I couldn't remember people's names. And it kind of forced me to, in a good way, take from that. But I worked in Eastern Europe probably for about 8 years. So while I was speaking in a basic English language from, the contract side of things, I went again tuning into what I felt energetically when I didn't feel safe, and started to really amplify that gift. But then it moved on to having a child who had asthma, living in London, air quality, and it put me on a bigger journey to understand how do I connect with the breath, which is the only part of the autonomic nervous system that we can control, we can manipulate in some ways, to help him get comfortable in adjusting his autonomic his nervous system when he got stressed. And from that, went on to study heart math and Reiki. And the more I started to take up different certifications and practices, it kept, unraveling more of, I'm going to call it my gifts. And it's really, I've kind of completed a double hip replacement 22 months ago and have had, exceptional healing. And even when the heart started to flutter, went to Healy, main doctors, and they're like, well, we can give you medicine. I'm like, well, you give me medicine, I'm not going to know if I've healed it. If I can't feel it, how am I going to know if I've healed it? And came back 6 months later and he's like, you're tickety boo, you're fine. I'm like, okay, thank you. And so I've learned through my own journey, through my own, people in the family. I've had a lot of members, unfortunately, in the family die of cancer. So it's brought that we are, we have a time period here, and it's really put it in place of, what's important to me. And for me, my gifts are, helping people learn how to calm down when they are getting stressed and understand maybe those emotional patterns or the generational patterns that can be passed down, and where we hold the trauma in the body, you know. And I've just gone through two hip replacements at the same time is like being in two car crashes at the same time for the body.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I was applying every single thing that I know to my healing journey. So it's yeah. And it, you know, he hip, knees, and shoulders, the older we get, the way we're working them out, burning them out, it's important people prepare the mind, body, and soul for these big surgeries. So they can come out on the other side and go back to playing with the grandkids, or back into the sports, or back into the bucket list of what they want to see or do in the world.
Do you know what? Wonderfully put, Caroline. And I was going to pick up on the thing about actually the practicality of integrating the mind and the body, and you said the soul, the whole thing to make the whole thing work and improve. So absolutely wonderful. I need to ask a question. I hope it
Sure.
doesn't trauma you. Have you been back on a horse since?
I have tried several times. So, what's also really interesting is when I was younger, I was a professional, you know, equestrian horseback rider. And it was kind of formidable years for the body between 8 and 12 years old. So I was very bow-legged in my younger years, you know. Um, but and even in those days, I could, you know, ride a couple of the horses. I'd go to the fence, call them, they would arrive, no reins, no saddle, just get on, and we were connecting. So like I've been fortunate to experience a lot of things to understand how powerful energy is within our body and
Yeah.
what we think. So yes, but no, when I get on them, they know right away. There is somatically stored in my body such a trauma because I don't remember the accident. I don't remember the first like 10 days. I only know what my friends and family have told me I've done.
Yeah, and I think that's where I was kind of going. It's not that you hold anything against horses. I think,
Oh
you have a
no,
different,
they're so
it,
magical. Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely. And it's wonderful. And this is all finding out about you, right? Because
Yeah.
we want people to come into the platform and find out about Caroline, okay? And why is she doing what she's doing? And this is how she's doing it. So tell us about how you are doing it in terms
Yeah.
of your practice and so forth, please. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a home portal, is what I call it, a treatment center. I do some work through an osteopath clinic. So my events, I'd look at it as I've got the 9D Breathwork, which is on Zoom and in person, and it's just the amplification of each in-person event is becoming even more and more powerful. I add my Reiki to those events. The energy work, so this is more energy alignment or energy awareness method. I can do that on Zoom. And so I have clients in Canada to the US, wherever you are, we can connect and work on that. I do find if I'm in person, um, the added I can do is bring in the breath work into the immediate session with the headsets, eyes, you know, eyes covered. But then I have also got my biomagnetism. So these are really strong magnets. See if I've got a pair right here. And there are, you know, like these are not fridge magnets. They are
Yeah.
22 Gauss. So for, you know, headaches, but I have a protocol for so many illnesses. I had a friend who was in Africa, was in the hospital with malaria and went and did. I've got a proper protocol. And, you know, at the end of the session, she was like, I don't have a headache. And for, you know, 2.5 days later, no headache. She's
Yeah.
back, tickety boo, she's fine now. So, not that I take full credit, but it was, I came at the right time when the body was needing to go into homeostasis. And that's what the magnets do.
And Caroline, and it's working with the tools that are available to us. And so because you're working in energy, the understanding of the electromagnetism and how the body works and all that is absolutely it. Look, wonderful. People, please do come find Caroline, make those connections, all those things that Caroline's talking about. There's a lot there. And this is the beautiful thing about what we're building with everybody. There's so much, and the same for everybody, for where anybody is. That's the thing, isn't it? Um,
Yep.
but do you have a wellness tip for us, please? A
Yes.
wellness tip.
So my wellness tip is I put a right hand on top of the head, the left hand, let's put it on our heart, and then you cross your feet. So for the body, when it is in touch with 3 points, 1, 2, and the feet's crossed, it senses a moment of calm. Then you add in 4 breaths in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale out, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So as long as we can exhale more than our inhale, do this 2, 3 times, you will calm the nervous system.
Absolutely. It works, doesn't it? Look wonderful. Caroline, thank you ever so much for that. And for doing this and being part of what we're doing and helping us get this into the world. And I think if people come to you, they'll have an amazing experience, probably take them on a journey in places that they don't even expect. You know what I mean? But that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
But when
Um,
we park the expectations, that's when the magic happens.
yeah, absolutely. Let the magic happen. Caroline, thank you for being part of what we're doing. People come and find Caroline.
You.
We'll see you all soon. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks so much.